Hey everybody, I'm back. For those of you who have been with me since I started, I took a break to revamp my channel. I used to do cleaning videos and now I'm going to do recipe and cooking videos. And I might throw in a few, I don't know what you would call them, but like I'll go to a restaurant or a fast food place and try something new and kind of give my food review. That's what it's called. So I'll do a couple of those, but it'll be mainly me trying out new recipes that I've found that our family have liked, or different baking things, because I'm a big fan of baking. And I think what it is that I'm very OCD, and baking is very scientific. You have to put the right measurements. You can't just wing it. Otherwise, it doesn't always come out the way it's supposed to. So I believe that is why baking is my favorite. I'm going to focus on things that our family eats. I'm going to have family-friendly stuff, quick dinners for weeknights, crock-pot recipes are my favorite, so I'll do a lot of those. And then things like 5 ingredients or less that you could potentially make on a whim. And if you want to keep these ingredients in your house, it'll be really good for when you're frazzled after picking up the kids from school, or you just worked a really long day. You can throw these together and have a delicious, healthy meal. So today's video, I'm going to be making peanut butter cookies. I love peanut butter. I love cookies. And I really wanted to make these because our cookie jar is kind of running low. And I have very picky eaters. And one of the things that gets them to actually eat more of their meal is if they have the promise of a sweet treat at the end of it. And cookies seem to be a crowd pleaser. So I needed to replenish my supply. So I've got my cup of coffee. And I've got my recipe on my phone from Pinterest, which I will link in the description below. So I don't know what my new catchphrase is going to be, because we can do it doesn't really make sense. But if you have any suggestions, go ahead and leave them in the comments section. Before you go, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, and click the bell for notifications, and click all, so that anytime I post a new video, you will get notified. And go ahead and like this video if it's something that you enjoyed, and go ahead and say hi. And I would love for you to join my little community that I am working on creating. All right, let's get cooking. So the first thing I did was measure everything out, and as I go through the recipe, I will tell you the amounts of everything, but I will also have the recipe from Pinterest in the description below. First things first, you mix the flour, salt, baking soda powder, and cinnamon together. And I just whisked those up with a fork and set that aside. Cherish her forever. Will you take her for your... Next, we need to cream our butter and peanut butter together. So I have half a cup or 1 stick of salted butter that I have softened, and then I added 1 cup of creamy peanut butter into my stand mixer. And I have a Sunbeam, so you'll see when I'm mixing stuff together, I kind of move it around. When with a KitchenAid, you probably wouldn't need it, and or if you had the right attachment to do this. You're feeling now, as you share your love, as together you stand. For God has a reason, He has a plan for every daughter and every son, as love grows between a woman and man. When making cookies like this, I always make sure to take a smaller spatula and push down the ingredients down from the sides, because otherwise I found that it doesn't mix all the way together, and then you get uneven batter. See the look in her eyes, feel the love in his hands. Know that love will be with you even when... Now that those are creamed, I have to add the sugars, which is a half a cup of both granulated sugar and light brown sugar. And then you just mix those all together until completely incorporated.
We'll always be with you in each other.
Next, we add 1 egg, 1 tablespoon of milk, and a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. And then you mix those all together until incorporated, and then after that you mix it for another 30 to 60 seconds. That extra time just ensures that all of the sugar is dissolved into the batter.
The two become one.
Now we're going to mix those dry ingredients in, which is a 1.25 cups of all-purpose flour, a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda, a 1/4 teaspoon baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon sea salt or table salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon cinnamon that we mixed together before, and then you mix that on low until they are well incorporated.
Let each new day always serve to remind you, together you will be your whole life long. For God has a reason. Yes, He has.
Once you've done that, you should chill in the refrigerator for at least an hour in an airtight container, and I just wrapped mine in cling wrap and it was perfectly fine.
Hearts draw together, two hearts beat as one.
Now that my cookie dough has been chilling for an hour, I preheated my oven to 375, lined my baking pan with this silicone mat that I got at Costco, and I used a cookie scoop, which the recipe calls for a smaller one, but all I had was this giant cookie scoop, and I scooped out the cookies onto my baking tray, and I will then proceed on to the next step, which is using a fork to gently press a crisscross pattern into the top of each cookie to flatten them a little bit, and that gives you the iconic crisscross top that you want for your peanut butter cookies, which obviously you don't have to do this step, but I really like it because it makes them cook more evenly and they just look like those classic peanut butter cookies that you had as a child. Now you should place your cookies in a preheated oven for approximately 9 to 10 minutes depending on your oven, and you want them to barely be starting to turn brown and puffed up and some crackling on the top, because that'll make sure that the bottoms aren't burnt but they're also not too doughy. So once your cookies are at that state, you should take them out and leave them on your pan for 5 minutes because they'll continue to cook for a little bit. And then once you've done that step, then you should cool them completely on a wire rack before serving or storing them. Now you have the recipe for delicious peanut butter cookies. So enjoy! Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Have a great day.